It feels good making someone feel good. And it's so simple to use someone's name, but it does take that intention to listen and to learn that name and then to use it. Making sure that if your body language, your voice tone has an excitement for them, you will see you're making a difference in their life.
Everybody, welcome back to the Morning Cup podcast. We're going to dive right into our burst of inspiration today, Carl. Today we're talking about just the power of a name and using people's names. Can you kick that off for us?
Yeah, I'm going to actually share a secret recipe of Egg Harbor Cafe. And if this is a regular customer listening, you might say, are you going to tell me how to make the Door County chicken salad? I'm not talking about food, but something we know has made a big impact on our sales over the years is we are obsessed with learning the names of every guest we possibly can that comes into our restaurants. See, the science fascinates me when it comes to what happens when you hear someone use your name. They actually call it the self-referential processing. And essentially, Matt, I don't know if you've ever experienced being in a really noisy room. There's a lot of people, and all of a sudden you hear your first name called out, and you can zone in. It's like it's all you hear, and you just want to know who said that.
Yeah, it reminds me of being an athlete, and you hear the coach yell your name, no matter what's going on in the stadium or the court. You hear your name called, boom, you know where they are. Or in a more positive way, when people say their mother is the one person that they can always hear in the stands and stuff like that, that just reminds me of that so much.
Yeah, it's fascinating because when we hear our name, it actually creates a self-focus and a sense of validation. So I know that, we're talking about the morning cup and, we want people to join us and wake up. You and I enjoy our cup of, morning cup. But hearing your own name actually wakes you up more.
Yeah.
And so I had a question for you. You're a father of 2 young girls. What has your experience been like the last couple of years when you use your girls' names, how they respond to you?
Yeah. My eldest daughter is 3.5. She's right in the middle of toddlerhood. So when I use her name, it's usually telling her to stop doing something. But with my youngest, she's 7 months, and when I come in every morning to wake her up after she starts crying on the monitor, when you walk in and you turn the lights on and you say her name, you can just see her light up. Her whole attitude changes. She couldn't be happier. She's kicking like crazy in her little sleep sack. You just saying like that validation and just like the light that sparks in people's eyes, like I can totally see that with my kids when that happens.
Yeah, I had a really neat conversation recently with one of our team members at our restaurant in Schaumburg. His name is Juan, and he started talking to me about being a dad, and he has 2 boys. And so right away I asked him, what are your kids' names? And he said, well, my older son is Orlando, he's 7, and my younger son is Christopher, he's 5. I really like those names, Matt. I just thought they rung together nicely, Orlando and Christopher. But I got curious, and I said, Juan, if you don't mind sharing with me, why did you choose to name your kids Orlando and Christopher? Is there a story behind it? And, he kind of made me laugh as he shared the story because he said him and his wife had decided before they knew if their first child was going to be a boy or a girl, Juan was hoping it was going to be a girl, and Juan's wife wanted it to be a boy.
Okay.
So they made a rule together. If it winds up being a girl, Juan's going to name the baby, and if it's a boy, his wife's going to name the baby. But once they finally got the news that it was going to be a boy, something happened to Juan, and he got really excited they were having a boy. And this is a little bit heartfelt in the story, but Juan's father had passed away, and so Juan's dad's name is Orlando, and he realized he wanted to name his first son after his father to carry on that tradition. Now, where he kind of chuckled is he said, when I told my wife that, how could she say no?
Yeah.
And so they decided to name their first boy Orlando. And so when they got pregnant again for the second boy, Juan went to his wife right away and said, boy or girl, you get to pick this name. And she likes the name Christopher. So that's the story behind Orlando and Christopher. But what's fascinating is Juan then told me that Orlando likes his name, but he wrestles with it a little bit. And the reason why he wrestles with it is because at school, a lot of his classmates, their name is the same as someone else's name. But Orlando doesn't know another Orlando. So he always asks his parents, why are there no other Orlandos? And he's been explained that his grandfather's name was Orlando, and there's a part of him that likes that. But something's been missing for him. He just wants to find another Orlando. Well, a couple weeks ago, they gave Orlando a book, and the main character, the hero in the book, his name is Orlando.
Nice.
And Juan told me that his son, when they gave him that book and they read the name Orlando, the look on his face, the joy, the way he was beaming, it's something that just hit Juan as a dad that he will never forget.
Yeah.
And that really stands out to me, to kind of that story hits why a name is so powerful, especially for children.
Yeah, and it's the same thing for adults. We talk about our core values, one of those being be about others.
Right.
And one of the easiest way that you can be about others is knowing somebody's name. This is something that, as a high-level leader at Egg Harbor, I sometimes struggle with traveling to different locations. There are some locations that have smaller staff. I can know them really well. I get to know their families really well. And then there's other locations where I'll sometimes go in and I walk in and I'm like, I don't necessarily recognize, or I recognize the face of this person, but I'm really struggling. Like, I really pride myself in trying to know every employee's name when I walk in the door. And so maybe some people that are listening can kind of relate to that of, sometimes I see somebody, I recognize them, I don't necessarily know their name, but I can see that when it comes to our employees, when you're someone who maybe isn't there all the time, but you come in and, wow, my district manager recognizes me and knows my name, that can go such a long way. And the same thing for our customers. Our managers that build regulars and have consistent sales growth every single year, a lot of it can be contributed to them having the regulars' names memorized, and when they come in, or our servers knowing their order, but greeting them like, hey, Bill, how are you? Hey, Gene, welcome. You can just see that sort of that sort of light just pop up in that person's eyes, and it really contributes to the family atmosphere that we want to have within the restaurant. Or if you're in an office setting, knowing every person that you walk into an office's name, that just creates a great energy and ambiance for your business or your restaurant that we really just want to encourage people to really implement.
Yeah, it feels good.
Yeah.
It feels good making someone feel good. And it's so simple to use someone's name, but it does take that intention to listen and to learn that name and then to use it. Making sure that if your body language, your voice tone has an excitement for them, you will see you're making a difference in their life. And I want to segue this right into our company good news.
Yeah.
And we're staying on the theme of Schaumburg, but there's a lot going on in that store when I visited. There is a regular there, speaking of names. He's Mr. Hayes. And the reason why he goes by Mr. Hayes is because he's a 7th grade teacher, and he teaches at Belvedere South Middle School. And our team in Schaumburg found out that he does something very special. He collects Lego sets for children at Lurie's Hospital that are dealing with cancer. And so when we heard that, it's just very heartfelt. A lot of team members wanted to find out, could we contribute? And Mr. Hayes explained, I just take collections and donations and then I go and buy the Lego sets. But in the spirit of Be About Others, the team members at Schaumburg decided, we want to help Mr. Hayes. We're going to buy Lego sets and bring them to him on his next visit.
Yeah.
And so we have a great picture we're going to show with Mr. Hayes and some of our team members looking at this Lego set. And I actually got connected with Mr. Hayes after I found out about this. And he shared with me that Egg Harbor for him is like a second home. And so he was so touched by the Egg Harbor team jumping in and joining him on this. They got a nice note as a thank you from the school. And we're actually going to be featured in their yearbook as a part of this partnership. And we're hoping that it's something for years to come. And for us, this is what it's all about. We talked about, in our first episode when we introduced this podcast, we want to improve lives one encounter at a time. And it's moments like this with Mr. Hayes. And, we know that Mr. Hayes brings those Legos in and uses those kids' names and makes that impact and shows them, even though you're dealing with something that's so difficult, your life matters and you're seen.
Yeah, and who knows, that story may never have even happened if our managers or our servers or our employees didn't spend that time getting to know that regular, getting to know Mr. Hayes, recognizing him on a frequent basis and learning his name and finding out that story. Yeah. It just ties everything in so well together there. Yep. And that kind of leads us towards our Something to Sip On challenge to conclude the episode today. And that is to learn someone new's name. I'm sure everybody listening has one person in their mind right now where, whether it's in my office, whether it's in my neighborhood when I'm walking my dog down the street, where you pass this person, they pass you, they see you, and you both make eye contact, but you just don't know their name. Take that second to stop. A lot of times when I'm talking to managers about this, they'll ask me, how do I, it's just awkward at this point. Like, I've seen them so often. I should know their name. I forgot it. They maybe told me it one time, and now I don't remember it. It's very simple. Just stop, say, hey, you know what? I see you all the time. I've seen you in here before. I see you on the street all the time. What is your name? I should know your name. What is your name? And repeat it back to them. And then from there on out, use their name. You'll see just the change in their expression every time you see them. It's going to make their day. So that's our challenge for you this week. And with that, we hope you enjoy the rest of your morning cup.
And go this week and be a leader. Thank you for joining us today. If you enjoyed the content, please take a moment, set down your morning cup, and like and subscribe. And if you're feeling extra ambitious, go ahead and drop us a comment. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Morning Cup.